Hey, it's Matt, and tonight I'm going to make you some mayonnaise. Now, over here I have some common mayonnaise which you might find in your grocery store. Let's start off with some Miracle Whip right here, which some people think doesn't have any eggs in it, but Miracle Whip does have egg in it. Over here we have Hellmann's real mayonnaise, which has sugar in it. I found that sort of interesting. We have some Asian mayonnaise, which is pretty good, and we got something called Dijonnaise, which is a mixture of mayonnaise and mustard. I couldn't find any baconaise, but they also have that out there. Now, these are all shelf stable, and once opened, they'll last in your fridge for a couple of weeks or so forth. And they got lots of other weird things in them, which I don't really know what they are. But tonight, what we're going to make for you is some actual real mayonnaise from scratch. Now, the advantages of real mayonnaise from scratch is that you know what's in it. It's probably a little bit more healthier for you. However, the disadvantage for real mayonnaise is that it doesn't last as long as these products. So you're going to want to use your real mayonnaise within the next 2 or 3 days. Also, another warning is that your mayonnaise will have uncooked egg in it. Unless you find some pasteurized egg product in your grocery store, then you can substitute that for the raw egg. But my mayonnaise will have raw egg in it, so if you're concerned about that, then please take the corrective actions. Also, the ingredients in our mayonnaise tonight is we have some neutral vegetable oil. We have some Dijon mustard. We're using Grey Poupon. You don't have to use Grey Poupon. You can use French's if you want. And we have some regular old vinegar, which we'll put in. Also, for flavorings, we have some lemon juice and some salt. So let's go ahead and get started and make ourselves some mayonnaise. Okay, so the mayonnaise we're making tonight is going to consist of 3 egg yolks, about 16 ounces of oil, tablespoon of water, tablespoon of vinegar, and some, like I said, lemon juice and salt. Now, what we're creating here is an emulsion. Now, unlike a typical vinaigrette emulsion, which is 1/3 acid and 3 parts oil, we're going to base our emulsion off of the total amount of non-fat, the fat ingredients. And that includes, when you take into account the egg yolks, water, vinegar, and everything else, as opposed to just taking into account one ingredient. So our ratio will be more of a 3-to-1 based off of all the other stuff against the fat. So 1 part other stuff and 3 parts fat. All right. And once again, an emulsion is when you take a fat, such as oil, and a other liquid, such as water, and you mix it together until you get the oil in suspension inside of the other product, be it water or whatever. And you need to have enough other product to hold the globules of oil in suspension. Once you get beyond that point, then your emulsion does breaks, whereas it can no longer absorb any more or hold any more oil in suspension, and the oil starts coming out and coalescing back in together to its original form. And what you end up with that is what's called a broken sauce, and it is indicative of a yin and yang symbol, because the oil will go back together again and coalesce with its brethren, and your water will sit there and swirl around in the middle, and it will look, well, broken. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to add 3 egg yolks from large eggs, just large eggs, into my work bowl of my mixer. All right. There we go. Get them all in. And then I'm going to, you want to get all that in there. And then I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of regular old vinegar. All right. And I'm going to follow it up with 1 tablespoon of plain old tap water. All right. And I'm going to finish that off with 1 teaspoon of Grey Poupon Dijon mustard. There we go. Make sure you put that in there. All right, once you get all that stuff in your work bowl, you're ready to start mixing. So go ahead and start her off, and we can run her at any speed we want. We're going to run her at that speed. And now we're going to slowly start to drizzle our oil in. Now you want to go really slow, a nice slow stream. You don't want to be in a hurry. And just slowly. Nice pencil thin stream. And you can see the emulsion come together. There it goes. I'm just letting it drizzle down the side of the bowl into our product. And take as much time as you need to do this. Do not rush this process, because you want this to happen gradually at its own pace. So what's happening here is that the oil is being sucked up into the egg yolk and water and vinegar mixture and being held in suspension. So little globulars are being flung up into the air and held in the liquid. Think about adding this. Notice how the color is changing from a dark yellow to a more pale. And they're starting to get thicker. See how the oil collects at the side and it's slowly integrated? Isn't that pretty neat? There we go. It's getting thicker and thicker. Now, a mayonnaise will hold up to 80% of fat. Anything above that, and you risk breaking the emulsion. So, and you can emulsify a large amount of liquid using one egg yolk. So it's not a matter of you need 3 egg yolks or whatever. One egg yolk can emulsify a whole lot of liquid. All right, almost there. Okay. So now I'm going to finish off with a tablespoon of lemon juice. There we go. And some salt. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and stop my... Alright, so we stopped our mixer, and now we're going to go ahead and taste our product. Notice its thickness. There you go. That's pretty much what you're looking for. Nice thick product like that. Alright, so let's go and give it a taste. We can adjust the seasoning accordingly. There you go. Maybe a little more lemon juice. So we'll add another tablespoon of lemon juice. Alright. And then just mix that up. And we'll toss in some more salt. Alright, our mayonnaise is done, and as you can see, it has a nice, fairly pale complexion, and its thickness is about like that. There you go. Now you can keep on adding more oil if you want to make it a little more thicker, but be careful, because once you reach a certain point, your emulsion won't be able to hold any more oil, fat globules, and then it'll start separating on you, and your mayonnaise will break. Now, don't worry, if your mayonnaise does break, there is a process to fix this. It's a little time consuming, but oil and eggs are expensive. So to save a broken mayonnaise, which means the fat has come out of your emulsion and you're left with a giant puddle of fat and a giant puddle of egg yellow stuff, go ahead and take this out of the bowl, put it in another bowl, put 2 or 3 egg yolks back into this bowl, beat those up, and then slowly drizzle your broken product back into the new egg yolks, and do it very, very slowly. And don't get too concerned if it doesn't happen magically in the first few seconds or first few minutes, but eventually your emulsion will come back together again and your product will be saved, and all that money you spent on eggs and fat won't be wasted. And then you can continue on the normal process of seasoning it with lemon juice or salt and whatever else you want. If you want to use pepper in this, most folks would prefer to use white pepper, but however, white pepper has a different flavor than black pepper, and some folks don't like to see specks of black pepper in their mayonnaise, so they go with white peppers. But just be aware that white pepper has a different flavor than black pepper does. So when you're seasoning with that, be careful. All right, make sure you always test whenever you're working on your mayonnaise. Well, once again, here's our finished mayonnaise. It didn't take very long, and we can pronounce all the ingredients inside of this. And once you share it with your friends and family, you can be proud to say, hey, I made that, and I know exactly what's in my mayonnaise. And it's a really good feeling when you can do that, as opposed to going, well, it's something from a jar, and I'm not quite sure what's in it. It's a completely different feeling, and it makes you feel really good. Speaking of feeling really good, there's an interesting benefit of making these videos. I first started out making these videos just because I wanted to see what it was like and how hard it would be to make a video of me making muffins or chocolate chip cookies and putting it up on YouTube. And as I continued, it started to get more interesting. In particular, the chantilly cream video, where I was just pretty much playing around with my new camera and putting up a video about mixers, and I'd go and make chantilly cream. That evolved into an interesting lesson about fat content and cream, which required me to go back and do some more research and understand myself, why different products have different amounts of fats in it. And it was very interesting to learn more about cream products and their fat content. Same with this mayonnaise episode. This mayonnaise episode was quite interesting to make, because at first I'm like, well, I'm just going to show them how to make mayonnaise because someone mentioned it on Twitter. Well, okay, that means I was just going to drizzle some fat into the bowl and watch it turn into an emulsion. Well, that wouldn't be very interesting for most folks because they don't know what's going on. It's like, oh, look, he's pouring something into a bowl and it's turning into something pale looking. Well, I got to do my homework and go find out exactly how I'm going to explain to my viewers what's going on in the bowl as it turns from a dark yellow blob into a pale fluffy thing, and why it's doing that, and why you can't leave it at room temperature, and it has raw eggs in it and stuff like that. So you had to go back and do all that work, and in the process I learned a lot more about mayonnaise and became very comfortable at making it. So I myself have learned a lot from making these videos. But I want to thank you all for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the future.